Hi everyone. In our previous presentation, we were seeing about the marine and ocean ecosystem. So, in what way this marine and ocean ecosystem differ from freshwater ecosystem means by its salty nature. So, we knew that we have so many oceans in the world and gigantic reservoirs even, and 71 percentage of our earth is covered by ocean, right. So we need to learn about the importance of ocean. So again we have biotic components and abiotic components. So let me read out some examples for the biotic components. So in the biotic components we have producers, consumers and decomposers. Producers means we have phytoplanktons, and consumers means like primary consumer, secondary consumer and tertiary consumers. So we knew that primary consumer means herbivores that feed directly on producer, and secondary consumer means carnivore which is dependent on primary consumer, and tertiary consumer means both. And decomposers means it's a microorganisms like bacteria and fungi. And abiotic components means organic and inorganic substance or minerals which is produced because of high temperature, the light and temperature. And the next one is lake ecosystem. So lake, we knew that how the lake will be, right. So all the industries are just sending the or dumping the waste material in the lake only. What happens means in the lake, the organisms which resides, which lives in the lake, at one point of time it will get vanished, right. And because of the pollutants, the urban waste or industrial waste, the full lake seems to be destroyed. So these are all the varying we had seen varying ecosystems we had seen. And in this actually we had just have gone through about the forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, and freshwater ecosystem, marine ocean ecosystem, and even lake ecosystem. So now in the upcoming session, just I'll explain about the biological productivity or biological like about the bioproductions and food chain, food web in this upcoming presentation. So the rate of biomass production per unit area or per unit time is called productivity, right. So the total amount of organic matter on any particular ecosystem is called as biomass. So the change in biomass is said to be the net production. We have primary production and secondary production. I'll tell you why. First of all, we are learning about this biomass means it is very essential one. And before seeing that, we have some chemical formulas or reactions for producing this biomass. This process is carried out by autotrophs by forming the sugar and sunlight through photosynthesis reaction, and the energy left after the respiration is said to be the primary production. So it involves photosynthesis action and the respiration process. Um, Secondary production means it is caused by heterotrophs. So the different energy is transferred and stored in the consumer level. So why we are learning about this biomass productivity means, so this is how the naturally available gas we can use for our daily necessities instead of going for gasolines, right. So we can see about the food chain. Food chain means this is like a transfer of energy and nutrients from one group to another organisms or one group to another group. The producer, consumer, decomposer, everyone is involved in this food chain. So food chain is like where who will eat which one and how the cycle is, that is said as food chain. So here in this figure you can see a producer, that it is consumed like primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, and finally a decomposer, right. This is combinedly said as a food chain, means one is dependent on other for the food. Okay, so you can see this is depending on the dead of this one, and this is depending on this. Finally it goes like it. And the types of food chain is like, as I said, Plants the secondary carnivores depend on primary carnivores. Primary carnivores depend on herbivore. Herbivore depend on plants. We have examples for it. Plants, okay, herbivore means cattle, elephant, which eats plants. And primary carnivores means tiger, lion, snake, everything. And secondary carnivores means a fox, owl, etc. And the detritus food chain means the organic waste and dead matter derived from the earlier grazing food chains is called this one. And the dead organic materials, right, like algae, fungi, bacteria, earthworms, etc., how they simply make reactions comes under this category. And biomagnification means biological magnification, which is like maintaining and regulating the population size by ecological balance. This is like in addition, like in each trophic level, the food chain is will be like keep on increasing or keep on depending upon one after another. So it is very important to maintain the ecological balance. Whereas the food web means in the ecosystem we have some consumer will depend on only a certain species for food, right? So you can take an example of owl which eats only mouse and a snake. Individual food chain becomes interconnected. And here you can see that food web means like all the food chains in the area together is said as a food web. By this, the prime objective is to maintain the stability in the ecosystem. So here you can see aquatic plants, terrestrial plants, and grasshopper eats this one, and mouse and all like eats this one. And finally you can see like in the figure you can see the aquatic sea water. There you can see fishes, okay, and some fish eating animals you can see. And that animals is being eaten by some other animal, right? And you can see that rats and all, like snail, grasshopper, rat, owl. So it keeps on food web means it is an interconnected food chain. So again you can see that which one eats which. For example, rabbits, it's eaten by foxes, right? This fox will eat all mice, squirrels, etc., seed, birds, everything. This birds and all, this mice, rabbits, squirrels, everything will depend on producer, right, plants for food. And insects, you can see this insects, birds are eating the insects, and snakes are eating that birds, right? So this food chain will like keep on, it will be like changing. And the energy flow, you can see that the major source of energy is sun, okay. From the sun we are getting energy. Primary consumers are getting energy, and secondary consumers, everyone are getting energy from sun only. Purely from sun, plants makes food. From plants, primary consumers makes food, and from primary consumer, secondary consumer will have food, and finally everything will go for decomposers. This energy flow will keep on be like circulating. And energy flow in the ecosystem is happens by the flow of nutrients. See, actually the beginning of everything is the input given by the sun. So that is called the primary production. And by using the photosynthesis chemical reaction, green plants use water and produces carbon dioxide, right? And the energy is stored in glucose. Glucose is stored as a starch in plants. The energy contained within producers and consumer is ultimately passed to decomposers. This is the cycle, right? And this energy flow keeps on like biotic community to abiotic community, it will be transferring. And energy flow will not be happening in the reverse manner, right? Because the beginning is energy, solar energy. From solar energy everything will be happening. About 1% of energy in the sun is used by green plants, and only 1% actually the green plants use. Other than that, it is unutilized. There are losses of energy in the trophic level, and the food energy is being transferred from organisms, like food